Hello, my friends, let's go straight to the front lines, Dobropilya direction. It seems like Ukrainian strategy starts to work well, so Russia is not propelling further. Moreover, Russian forces had to withdraw their units from the road which connects Dobropilya and Kramatorsk. So the actual picture for now, judging on the other sources and information I have, is something like this. So Russians formed this single attack. They took Zoloty Kolodesy, it happened the day before yesterday, together with Vesela village. And now multiple of the Ukrainian army reinforcements tried to push Russians out. But at the same time, it's very difficult because Russians took control over the part of the newly built Ukrainian defense line, the main defense line in Donbass. So the actual picture looks something like that. This is the main Ukrainian defense line, which I mentioned. Zoloty Kolodesy is behind it, Vesela as well. Well, they're the part of this defense line. There are dots, trenches, anti-tank structures, which were taken by Russians in this spot. From Ukrainian side, very capable 25th Brigade was deployed, as well as Da Vinci, and Azov is working here not far away from Vilna. Their goal is to stop the Russian offensive towards Dobropilya, and they managed to do it. So they cut this Russian attack vector, so before Russians moved more to the west. And different Ukrainian army forces presented in this direction. So idea for Ukraine is to push Russians in every sort of the way to cut their supplies towards Zoloty Kolodesy. It's the only way how you can deal with this thing. Because attacking the own fortified defense lines taken by Russians will not make the difference if Russians are able to supply those. So it is the most important thing to cut supplies. There is the road, plus Russians could use field roads. They attack mostly with infantry forces on all-terrain vehicles, light vehicles and motorcycles. And now they have problems definitely with supplies because Ukraine is really oriented in cutting this part of the Russian attack in general. So here I see the prompt action done by Ukrainian command to firefight this new Russian offensive. And the good news, as I told you, that this offensive was already stopped. And as I told you, Russians were pushed back to Zoloty Kolodesy from the road. Very important road, by the way. This is one more map. So what also could be done is to disturb the Russian logistics in this area. You may see the river goes here. And Russians have just few supply links here, so for Ukraine it's important to cut those supplies. It will help also with Rodinske, and Russians already entered that village, and it will also help controlling this Russian offensive or even maybe cancel it. So the situation for now in this northern direction, in Dobropilya direction, is not evolving into some sort of the catastrophic one. But we understand that Russia sent tremendous number of the reinforcements to the place. Those are no longer sabotage groups, no. Those are the regular Russian army units that have already crossed the main defense line in Zoloty Kolodesy. So indeed, Ukrainian reinforcements needed a couple of days to be deployed in this place, but now they managed to secure the perimeter around, at least from what I may say, judging on the maps presented and also in analytics, plus reports from Ukrainian side. Also Russian side. And I think that Russians already understood that this attack direction, well, it is not as profitable as they thought before. And that supplying this across the river is also kind of not okay for them. The stability of those supplies are not okay, especially then they want to attack in two of the directions, two major directions. Once towards Rodinske and later on to Mirnograd and Pokrovsk, and the other one to north. So it was ambitious target by Russia, but we see how it's fading away. I mean, their pace, how they advance in a matter of 3 days by 17 kilometers, if we speak about this further point which they reached but later on retreated. Now I don't see the movement here, and that is why Russians, I think, they started this new attack vector from the Popiv Yard. They understand that the river is the natural obstacle that blocking the prompt action, military action from their side, so they now attack from Poltavka or Popiv Yard. And we have even military map update from this place, so it was yesterday, it is today. So a little expansion of the gray zone, plus they moved with their forces more, taking the fields. But the thing here that there is no road, just some of the small field roads, so they need to take Sofivka under control if they want to move further to the north. And this is from the local Russian Telegram channels. Their soldiers are saying that Ukraine is striking from two of the sides, trying to cut the Russian supplies. So 16 kilometers to Dobropilya are sitting without evacuation, food, water, and under attack from Ukrainian armed forces from all sides, they say. Interesting. So could it be really a disaster for the Russian army in this sector? Well, yeah, it has the chances for it to be so, but it's not the organized operation by Ukraine. No army in the world would lead the enemy to penetrate the main defense line. So actually it is what it is. The emergency response from Ukraine. Emergency call Azov and others, guys. Please guys, there is emergency. We need to eliminate this Russian offensive. We need your help. The help of the best brigades, battalions and corps. Still, I agree with analysis that this attack of Russia breakthrough actually was possible because of the Ukrainian high-rank military command incompetence to organize the proper defense in this specific spot. And I'm saying it for the very long time that the Ukrainian army itself needs reforms. I'm saying about it, Ukrainian volunteers, Ukrainian army, soldiers, everyone wants the changes. And those changes should be really dramatic, titanic changes in Ukrainian military command, because many of the Ukrainian generals there, they have the old Soviet mindset. We call them dinosaurs, and because of their mistakes, this kind of the thing happens. And luckily, still Ukrainian army has some of the reserves to compensate this Russian attack, but those guys could have been used in different directions. So it's like a chain reaction. So Russia may break through in different direction at the same time because they have more resources. The thing that saves Ukraine here is the incompetence of the Russian military command, but because Russia has more resources, they propel forward. The small Soviet army cannot win against the big Soviet army, right? So there should be changes in Ukraine. First of all, command. If there are reforms in the Ukrainian army, there will be many more volunteers to join. So mobilization problem comes also from this very important, and I would say the main problem for Ukraine, incompetence of the Ukrainian command. And volunteers who would like to join Ukrainian army usually do not go to Ukrainian army conscription centers. They go directly to brigades, battalions and corps with more or less autonomous command. Well, as much as possible autonomous. I'm speaking about Azov Corps, I'm speaking about the 3rd Assault Brigade, Magura Wolves of Da Vinci, Magyar Birds, and many others, which are more or less autonomous. Still, they receive the orders from the high-rank Ukrainian military command, but soldiers who go there, they understand that local commanders, at least, they value their lives, and they might have some of the argument even with Syrskyi and other generals. And actually, that is why they're the most effective Ukrainian units, and that's why they're deployed in the most hot spots. That's the reality. I think most of the Ukrainian generals should be replaced with the guys from those brigades who already have the real actual military experience, who understand what is happening on the ground, because many of the Ukrainian generals, they still see those maps, they don't understand the real picture. Soviet approach, and about Syrskyi, the same. And yeah, not so good news from Alexander Shershin, who left Magura Brigade. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean that he will go fully to shadow. No, he will continue to be there, I think even on the front lines, but no longer as the commander of brigade. He did it because there was the very bad communication between him and high-rank Ukrainian military command, which was really bad in handling this battalion, throwing it to the mid-waves many of the times. Yeah, sometimes it may also happen in Ukrainian army, especially in Kursk operation, as Alexander mentioned here. So yeah, it's not ideal picture, as we may understand. And I've took it from Sternenka channel, so the biggest Ukrainian volunteer who supplies the most of the drones to Ukrainian army. And if we speak about the drones, Sternenka did a lot for Ukraine. I would say more than Ukrainian government itself. And about Pokrovsk and Mirnograd, well, Deep State doesn't show us the update where Russia advanced towards Novoalexandrivka. That update we have from the Michael Center 3 map. The link for his social media is in the video description just below, where you may find the link for this map. But for today, there is no further information about this Russian attack development. Could be just separate mission with a small sabotage group, or could be pretty much offensive of the Russian army with regular forces. Well, Maikos himself updated the map, and here we see he puts Zolotyi Kolodets and Kucherev Yar all in a gray zone. Alright, now let's go to the other parts. Here the situation in Chasiv Yar starts to deteriorate a little, so it was yesterday, it is today. Here it was the defense line of Ukraine, which was penetrated, I think, a couple of days ago by Russians, and now they want to expand even more this local bridgehead. Well, I think they may turn to Chasiv Yar from this side or continue the movement to the west. And in the west we have this highway, maybe they want to go across it or to go to Konstantinovka later on. They also advanced from Toretsk. There was the expansion of this gray zone yesterday and today. So I would say that Toretsk is mostly occupied by Russians. Maybe now it's fully occupied. Plus Ukraine should absolutely withdraw the forces from this area. Otherwise Russians may trap Ukrainian army here, and there are two vectors of advancement. 1, 2, and they move with more reinforcements here. So at this stage I would say that the battle for Konstantinovka is just imminent. Plus Russians also continue to move in Komar direction. It was yesterday, it is today. Some of the advancement near Zeleny High, expansion of the gray zone, and advancement not far away from Voskresenka yesterday, today. It seems like they're going back to Malivka, a very small village. Well, Ukraine, before counterattacking, kicked the Russians out, then they regrouped their forces and tried to get it once again. Also, if we go more to the south here, Malinivka, movement of the Russian army was detected, but just a light movement. Also, Russians tried to advance in the south direction, not far away from Robotine, but this attack attempt totally failed for them. Ukrainian surveillance drones spotted this Russian movement, and Russians were put on their controlled territory. So it means that the territory, after all, wasn't fully under their control. Interesting that they moved even with armored vehicles, which nowadays happens kind of rarely. Actually, it was even a convoy, as you might see, and the convoy was kaputted on the way. Now, this vehicle is running, and kaboom. Yeah, a successful operation done by Ukrainian defenders. And this video comes from the Pokros direction, where Russia tried to use a tank. Well, the tank was found and annihilated. My friends, thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. The link for my Patreon is in the video description just below. Again, thanks for maintaining my motivation, and I'm gonna upload more videos on this channel, so subscribe for it as well. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.